You can talk to people every day and still feel completely alone. Not because no one is around you, but because something else is missing. You meet someone, you talk, you laugh. Everything looks normal. But nothing about you was actually seen, because loneliness is not the same as being alone. It's the feeling of not being understood. In many modern lifestyles, interaction becomes occasional and often stays on the surface. A few conversations, a quick meetup, a night out once in a while. And when you do talk, you filter what you say, you keep things light, you avoid anything that might be judged. You skip what actually matters, you don't show too much. Because showing more has a cost. It can be misunderstood, ignored, rejected. So the mind makes a quiet decision, stay safe. But safe has a side effect. The conversation stays on the surface, nothing real is exchanged, and no real connection forms. So you leave the interaction, and something feels incomplete. Not because it went badly, but because it never went deep. The mind doesn't measure how many people you see, it measures how much of you is seen, and without noticing, a pattern builds. You want connection, but you hold back, so nothing real forms, and the feeling stays. There's a name for this, loneliness. Not just being alone, but feeling unseen, even around people. And if this pattern repeats long enough, the mind starts to change. You begin to expect less from people. Not consciously, just quietly. You stop thinking, maybe they'll understand, and start thinking, it's probably not worth explaining. So you simplify yourself. Shorter answers. Safer opinions, less of what actually matters. Not because you have nothing to say, but because the mind has learned depth doesn't lead anywhere. And over time, something deeper happens. You don't just hide parts of yourself from others, you start losing touch with them yourself. Because what isn't expressed slowly becomes less present. Conversations begin to feel repetitive, predictable, even when they're not. Because nothing real is at stake, and this reinforces the original feeling, something is missing. So loneliness is not just a moment, it becomes a pattern, and then it becomes a way of being. Not because something is wrong with you, but because the mind adapts to what it repeatedly experiences. If connection never goes deep, the mind stops expecting depth. So the problem isn't always that people aren't there. Sometimes, it's what the mind has learned to do in their presence. Are you alone, or has your mind learned not to be seen anymore? Because over time, that can feel exactly the same. If any part of this felt familiar, share your thoughts in the comments. And if you're interested in understanding how the mind really works, consider subscribing to the Mindpaths.